President Biden has said several times that if Russia invades, then the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline from Russia to Germany it won't go ahead. Listen.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
The German chancellor, during his visit to the White House yesterday, was not as clear in his commitment. He wouldn't even mention the pipeline by name. But this pipeline plays an important role in terms of the strategy for different sides here. What do you see as the U.S. role in helping Germany navigate this so that this pipeline can't be leverage for Putin?
Yeah, I think right now you have almost a disagreement more about tactics than on strategy when it comes to Nord Stream 2. The question of whether it's better to sort of say on the front end to Putin, this project's going to die, or to use it as the U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the other day, or to use that as an example of, sorry, that's my dog colleague here, or to use that as an example of leverage after any military incursion. And so I think it seems very clear that any further military action on the part of Putin is going to lead to the cutting off of this pipeline. But that he's baked that into the cost, unfortunately, it seems to me, of this military buildup. And so I'm not sure that it's going to provide a deterrent so much as a punishment at this point.
That was impressive how you were able to stay focused through that barking and the doorbell ringing. It reminds me of my dog and how it would go crazy back when we had a dog. Thank you so much, Susan Glasser, for your expertise, for your time with us today. Give your pooch a little belly rub for me as well. All right.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Their son is accused of killing 4 students at his school. But will James and Jennifer Crumbly face trial themselves? Here are the slew of new details about that day next.
Tower camp for hey, folks, we seem to have a visitor. It looks like
board with that. Germany is heavily dependent on Russian energy. CNN chief White House correspondent Caitlin Collins is with us now. So the president said that he could, quote, bring an end to the pipeline if Russia invades. How can he, and he didn't offer many details, at least yesterday, guarantee that?
And that was the big question, is how specifically can you do that if Germany in and of itself, given the chancellor would not commit to it yesterday, is not also in agreement with that statement and supportive of the U.S. position that if Russia does invade Ukraine, then Nord Stream 2 will not go forward. Because right now it's basically under review. It is not operational, but it could easily become operational pretty quickly. And so that has been the big question for the president, because he did say yesterday he is quite clear that he believes it would not become operable if that happened, but he's not really saying how. And of course, that's been a big question here. They could certainly impose heavy financial sanctions on people associated with the pipeline. Whether that happens remains to be seen, because of course that has been a path that you've seen lawmakers pursue for several months now, trying to go after Nord Stream 2. It's been a point of contention at times, and it's something that you've seen Secretary Blinken, officials here at the White House, say that they believe Nord Stream 2 was a bad idea. He said that during his confirmation hearing almost a year ago up on Capitol Hill. And now it's, of course, still back at the center of this issue and the big questions, of course, over what's going to happen. I think the larger picture of this, Victor and Allison, is, of course, still what Russia is going to do. That is something that President Biden says he believes that President Putin only knows what he wants to do here. And it's not something that they believe is really something that's being shared with even other senior Russian officials. And so that's really still the big point of question here at the White House, which is all of these threats that they are making of sanctions, of making sure Nord Stream 2 would not go forward. It all, of course, is dependent on what Russia does.
Caitlin, President Biden is also set to speak soon on manufacturing in the U.S. So do we know what he's going to say?
Yeah, we're going to be talking largely about the president's desire to bring back manufacturing and revive it here in the United States, but also talking about this Australian company that plans to build a manufacturing facility in Tennessee to build those chargers for electric cars. That has been a big part of the president's plan here, is to put more of those chargers throughout the United States to inspire more people to use electric vehicles, because, of course, that has been one of the challenges, I guess you would say, of this, is that people say there need to be more of those. That's part of the president's infrastructure plan, something they've talked about. And so you will see the Energy Secretary appearing alongside President Biden and the Transportation Secretary here when he speaks in just a few moments.
Okay, we'll be watching. Caitlin Collins, thank you.
Jared Bernstein is a member of the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Good to see you again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Victor.
So the president today is going to be touting these charging stations. Of course, he wants to boost manufacturing, but the overlap there, we've got a U.S. automaker, Ford, that is pausing or altering manufacturing at 4 of its North American plants because of the shortage of semiconductor chips. Commerce Department says that the shortage could lead some factories in several areas to close. Where's the administration on this, and how are you going to help solve this problem?
It's a great question for which we have a very solid answer. But before I get to that, let me just say that when we talk about building manufacturing jobs, that's not just a future-looking thing. That's something that's occurred since this president took office. 367